I was raised in an environment where we were always challenged to pursue what you enjoy and not focus on the money. And ironically, my avocation, what I do for a living, is I give away very large sums of money.
Welcome to Conversations with Kendall. I'm Kendall Lutz, real estate agent, real estate consultant here at Preferred Shore in beautiful downtown Sarasota, Florida. I love this building. I love the feel that Robert Milligan has given to this place. It's just amazing to be down here. I love part of my podcast. I just love talking to people, getting to know them, getting to know more about them, the journey they've been on, the path they're taking. And by digging into who they really are, I can help them in my own business, which is to help them buy the perfect home and the perfect location. And we're talking about the several locations down here. Laurel Park is one of them, and so on. So first of all, so in keeping with that, my podcast will always be talking to people and investigating their lifestyle. I'm honored today, by the way, to have with me the branch manager and mortgage specialist extraordinaire, from what I'm hearing, from Northpointe Bank, and the man who hates to say no, Matthew Arcari.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. This is great.
Happy to be here.
Tell me about that word. Your staff said that you hate the word no.
Oh, I hate the word no. Well, that's interesting that they said that. Yeah, we strive to always find an answer, right? And oftentimes when helping folks with what's normally their largest financial transaction in their lives, purchasing a home, we really look at some of the opportunities to help these folks, every opportunity. We look at it as sort of that Rubik's Cube, right? Trying to solve that puzzle. And too often, unfortunately, people in the United States, when they're seeking a mortgage, are told, oh, no, you can't do that, or no, you don't qualify. And oftentimes that's because, unfortunately, somebody doesn't have the experience and knowledge of all the lending guidelines out there, or they don't have the breadth and depth of loan product to offer a variety of options. So yes, I don't like the word no. I always like the word we're going to try and find out. And we'll, go back in that proverbial backyard and turn over every stone until we've exhausted any possibilities. But quite often, the Matthew Arcari mortgage team, I'm very proud to say that we rarely have to say no to somebody. And if there is an instance with maybe their credit might not qualify them right now, we have an opportunity to guide them down a path to maybe reset that credit and improve it so that then we can say yes. Maybe it's just a temporary pause and not a no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something we'll touch on that a little bit later too, but your team also told me oftentimes you are the rescue party for mortgages that have gone bad.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a minute here too. But I should mention, as I talk to you about, I talked to your fantastic team. It was Jessica, Kyle, Betsy, and they make up the Matthew Arcari mortgage team. A team that they called a team of unicorns. They said that you've always wanted to create this team of unicorns.
Yep.
And you spent time developing that and educating them. I had the great pleasure to chat with all three of them. And I asked them, amongst other things, give me one word that describes Matthew.
Oh, dear.
That's it's always an open. You never know. But these were great attributes. Energetic, ambitious, and honorable. To me, that paints a picture of a man on a mission who cares.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I love it.
That is good.
And there's no four-letter words in there. That's good. No profanity.
No. I had to do some editing, but no. This is all organic, and this is what they told me.
Yeah.
And this is great. So, if you were going to use one word to describe yourself,
yeah,
what would you say?
That's a good question. Professionally, I would say that one word would be caring.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the feel I got from this. Some of the things that the other feelings that I was left with after talking to them was that you're very giving of your time, overly giving, your resources, and really your heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is not just a business to you. It's not just making a mortgage happen. It is, you're involved in this. I mean, the things that they told me about that you've done in the past, renting the Sebring racetrack
Mm-hmm.
for your nephew. I mean, grabbing your staff, taking them out on the boat, say, here we go, we're going today, that's it. Renting the home next to you for your mom.
Yeah.
So she can be close.
Yeah.
You're available 24/7, never shut down. They just call this, you love what you do and you care about all of those around you. Is this how you were raised? Where did this all come from?
I think all of that's very, very accurate. And I was raised in an environment where we were always challenged to pursue what you enjoy and not focus on the money. And ironically, my avocation, what I do for a living, is I give away very large sums of money. But it's true. I think the values that were instilled in myself and my family are really rooted in that sort of approach and philosophy to life. And so I am just blessed that I love what I do. We get to help people, shepherd them through the minefield of residential lending and seeking a mortgage. Being able to help folks that they didn't think that they would have the opportunity to buy a home for their family, right? First-time home buyers, or somebody that's a well-heeled veteran that's bought many homes and looking to maybe purchase that investment property or a vacation property. So Sadie, I really find myself very blessed to be able to wake up every morning, and it doesn't matter, as you said, 7 days a week, and just love what we do. And like folks in your avocation, they have to be there for their customer 7 days a week. So you hit it right on the head when you said that I've been very lucky to seek out and build a team of unicorns. Betsy, Kyle, Jessica. We also have Nicole and Kristen that are on our team. They work remotely, but these are individuals that truly care. And so when I use that word caring, it really goes right through the entire team. And I do feel really blessed and honored to be able to serve people. And not in a transactional way, as you mentioned, Kendall. It's more important for me to be able to serve people in a manner that makes them feel that they're within a family, if you will. So it's not transactional. I'm not just looking to close a loan and move on to the next victim. We want to help these folks, and we want to earn the opportunity to help any of their family, friends, or neighbors. We lend in all 50 states, and it's a tremendous ability for us to not just be limited geographically to Florida. So I think that's helpful. Sadie, come over here, the interviewer.
And that's it. The other part of the story too. You are a dog rescuer. Tell us about that. How many have you rescued?
I am a dog rescuer. So this is Sadie. We just rescued her right before Christmas last year, and probably for the past 23, 24 years, I've been rescuing labs. I work with the National Labrador Rescue League. Every breed throughout the United States, for any of your viewers that might be interested, whether it's a pug or a Great Dane, every breed has a National Rescue League. And I've been working with the National Labrador Retriever Rescue League and their chapters in Florida. And so this is a new rescue for me. And so I've had her since December 23rd. She's 6 years old, and her mother, who had raised her from a pup, unfortunately had to go into hospice. So, I really feel honored to be able to have these four-legged furry friends in my life.
And how many do you have right now?
So we only have one now. I normally have two. I usually have a boy and a girl, and had someone that we had to pass along the Rainbow Bridge, as they call it. So, but that's okay, because it opens up an opportunity for me to rescue
help out another one. Right, that's
absolutely.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, let's go back a little bit here. I heard you grew up in Michigan.
Yes.
Tell me about where in Michigan, how long were you there, and then what eventually brought you here. So tell me about your life in Michigan.
Sure.
You were born there?
Yep.
Raised?
Born and raised in the Midwest, born in Michigan, just outside of Detroit, probably about 45 or 50 minutes north of Detroit. And I'm the youngest of six. Grew up in a log cabin on a lake.
Wow.
And we used to call it growing up out in the sticks because literally it was. And the whole family was involved in taking care of probably what was about 27 acres, barn, horses, lots of, wood to be split to keep the fires going in the winter, no kidding. And in the summer, lots of grass to cut and things to do. So it created, I think, a sense of team, working together as a family, right? Because all the kids would either clean up the leaves or chop down trees and split wood or mow the yard and all that stuff. So it was wonderful. It was a very blessed upbringing, and living on the lake. We had an opportunity to be sailing, water skiing, doing some fun things in the water. I grew up in Michigan and lived there until graduated from college. Spent a little bit of time over in Chicago, back to Detroit. Worked probably for another dozen years, and then spent a couple of years out in New York City. I still have family out there and did a little work out there, and then came back. And 24 years ago, I had the wonderful opportunity to be exposed to Sarasota and moved down here. And it is absolutely paradise. So
wow.
Yeah.
And so you went to college in Michigan?
I did. I went to school in Michigan. Yep.
Which
Yep.
college?
Went to Albion College.
Albion, okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
What brought you here? What was the connection? What was you just?
So funny enough, and I'll always be able to be thankful for my ex. My ex had been living here in Sarasota, but we both came from the same town up in Michigan, and we married and moved down here. And I have just been blessed with the life that I have currently and enjoy. And it's interesting coming down here without having any base, any friends, any business associates. I really started from scratch 24 years ago, and the people, both friends as well as business associates, to be honest with you, a lot of the people that are my very dear friends are people that I've met through our industry, people like yourself, people that help out with insurance, with closings as attorneys, realtors, financial planners, CPAs. It's just a wonderful, wonderful area, and I absolutely feel lucky as all get out to be living here, and I'm certainly not going to leave here anytime soon.
No, it's 24 years. So
Yeah.
First of all, I want to comment on I think it's best when you have not just acquaintances and business partners, but people you enjoy being with. Like I enjoy being with you, and I want all of my, closings to go through.
Yeah.
Matthew Arcari.
Yeah.
I mean this is a great relationship, a great friendship, and it's always good to have those kind of people rather than just someone you shake your hand and say thanks for being here. But you're coming down here 24 years ago. This town was nothing like it is now.
Absolutely not. You're so correct. It was a very different animal. Main Street right now in Sarasota was nothing like this 24 years ago.
I mean, from what I hear, it was like they called it the cow town. It was just nothing but pastures.
Yeah.
And now you've built out to Lorraine Avenue and beyond. Lorraine Avenue at one point was just a dirt road, if that.
Yep.
So where did you move when you first moved down here? Were you downtown?
So actually, when I moved down, we lived out on Siesta Key.
Oh,
had
wow.
a very charmed life.
Yes.
And had an opportunity to live out there on an estate in one of the little homes on the estate, right on the water, and enjoyed 4.5 years on the water. Loved Siesta Key. Had an opportunity to watch it change and grow as the rest of the city grew. But it was a lot of fun living out there. And the key life, living out on the key or the island, is something that I think, it's great for anybody to experience. And I think it's important to experience it because, my next step was to move up near Ringling Museum, and had a 1950s atomic ranch, a kind of 50s funky home up there, which was great, and we redid it and lived up there just a couple miles north of town up by the Ringling Museum, up by the airport. Again, a neat place, a couple blocks off the water, a lot of sense of community, a lot of people walking their dogs or having their children down at the park. And we really, really enjoyed that. And then the last 7 years, I've actually been fortunate enough, having worked downtown and having my office downtown, I've always had my eye on downtown living. I like that pedestrian lifestyle, being able to either walk to work or walk to a restaurant.
Right.
And so currently I live in Laurel Park, which is a lovely historic neighborhood, and really enjoy all the diversity that neighborhood offers. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we obviously had I think it was a Christmas party at your house.
Yeah, it was wonderful having you and your wife there.
I love all this neighborhood down. I love Arlington Park. I think is developing into a really nice neighborhood.
Yes.
Laurel Park. When I was there, I was surprised at how historic and the architecture there.
Yeah.
It's just unique. You are the president of the Laurel Park Neighborhood Association.
I am. Yeah, it's not something I advertise, but yes, I am.
So you want his phone number to call him if he comes? And you jumped on that because you love that community.
I do. I really enjoy the community, and there is an importance, I think, in historic neighborhoods, especially with a growing, thriving town like Sarasota, right, where you've got a lot of development. And development's a good thing for our town. There's no question about it. But also green space is a good thing, and having local single-family homes and dwellings are important. So being a part of a very active board within Laurel Park, we're able to continue a very positive relationship with the city as we have developers coming in around us proposing projects for the betterment of the city, but also it needs to be something that works well hand in hand with the.
What would you say is the perfect family couple to move into Laurel Park? Now, I know you probably welcome families and couples and retired folks and whoever.
Yeah.
But is there a unique family style that would do well there?
You know, that's a good question. There's such diversity in the type of architectural kind of that we have there. I think it's got an appeal to many different types of taste, whether it's mid-century modern, that kind of boxy style home with lots of glass, or even older homes like ours. It's a 100-year-old home, and it's a Mediterranean revival style. And then variations in between, small cottages, if you'd like. I think it's really appealing to people with families, people that might be retired, or like myself, working, but really living in the
folks want to plug in down here.
Yeah, plug in down here and walk everywhere. I mean, that's the great thing about Sarasota. I know that we have lovely communities around Sarasota, such as Lakewood Ranch and the areas to the south, the Palmer Ranch, and certainly up in Manatee. We've got the Keys out on the coast.
Right.
But there is an opportunity to have a sort of an urban lifestyle, if you will, that you can have the city within walking reach, not too far away. And
no, you're just a few blocks from here.
Just a few blocks away.
Long blocks.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, like I said, I saw your house at the party. I was fascinated by the architecture and what you've done with it. It was beautiful. I think it was raining that night, so we couldn't enjoy the pool. But
yes,
it was very nice. And I remember running into Jennifer, I think, the night before, and she said, "Well, come on over to our house. It's an older house, but." And I went in there and I said, and I was expecting a really old home that you're working on.
Yeah.
And this thing was beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I will tell you, it's an old house, and we're constantly working on it.
Let's go back here. We don't have a whole lot of time left, but let's talk to me about a day in your life. You wake up in the morning. I bet the first thing you're doing is walking a dog. But tell me about your day from that point on. What do you do?
Yeah, as it relates to work. So we jump right into it right away. And you mentioned earlier that the Matthew Arcari mortgage team is certainly made up of unicorns. And I mean that sincerely. Our team is up, answering emails bright and early, 7 a.m., of course. And we're responding to people that oftentimes have a need that's a time-sensitive need. So we're right at it right away. Our day starts with a brief meeting to go over all the different people's loans that we're working on. We work in a team format to ensure that nothing falls through the cracks, because communication and process is very important to our success. basically to be able to deliver people to closing with no surprises, which is that promise we put out to not only a borrower but to our business partners like yourself. We want to make certain that we follow a process that ensures a high level of communication. So we're on email, phone, and text all the time. We are very avid users of CRMs, databases, to make certain that not only are we communicating maybe with Kendall or Kendall's clients, but that if I'm in a meeting with someone else and you call another member of my team, they'll be able to look at that CRM and look at the flowing notes and be able to follow the exact last conversation that we had in order to pick right up so that it's seamless for you. And we focus a lot not only on having that internal meeting first thing in the morning to make certain that everybody is understanding what their tasks are for the day to accomplish, but also to be able to be cognizant of the fact that we have to, remain docile and be able to, bob and weave when we need to when things happen. Because in our world, we don't consider there to be problems that come up. We just consider them to be situations.
Challenges.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's situations that can be met with an opportunity, again, to solve that Rubik's Cube. So in our business, we always say it's not if, it's when something's going to change. But it's the way that one reacts to a situation that really defines them. It's not the situation itself. And so we're very fortunate that the team shares that outlook in order to ensure that behind the scenes, things that might be presented or be concerning for other people, we're handling them. And we make sure that the process goes smoothly. Our ultimate goal with our business partners like yourself is to be able to represent you well in front of your client. And that means telephone conversations, texts, emails, and free up your time because we have a process that follows a high level of communication. And we feel that if there's any way we can give to our business partners, obviously we need to close on time with no surprises, but what else can we do for you? Our goal is to free up time for you so that you can go out and help other families find homes or go out and help other families list homes. And we find that to be very rewarding to be able to handle those challenges, as you say, situations, without burning a lot of your time, so that you can be focused on the core competencies and the things that you enjoy about your
and there's so many things that as a real estate agent you just can't keep up on all the mortgage lending and the savvy projects that you have and methods you have, and you can do. Do you negotiate the sale price down, or do you let the seller pay? Do a seller pay down strategy?
Right.
What does that mean? And you are the expert in that, and so you're a tremendous resource. And part of I couldn't do what I'm doing if I didn't have somebody like you. And I just so you know, I went through the process with Matthew and his team trying to get a second mortgage, which we were successful in getting the approval. And then just waited on this home to sell, and we're still in that process. But I couldn't tell you how many times your staff called me, texted me, emailed me. They were on it constantly, and that made me feel assured that if they're treating me like that, you can treat your customers that way. And it was 24/7. It was just very helpful people.
Good. I'm glad. That's
yes.
exactly what we want to do. We want to make sure that your experience as an agent, that you have a comfort level knowing that we'll be treating any one of your valued customers the same way. And the other thing that we do that I think is slightly differentiates us from just your average normal big box bank or an online lender, we have our referral program that we run constantly, and a lot of the business partners like yourself that work with us are aware of it. And our referral tracker program allows us to continue to keep in touch with your customer even after the closing. And that's important, right? Because you get busy. Yep. So we follow up with your customer database and market to your customer database. Not only are we marketing them during the process, we're edifying you on what a great choice they made in working with you, but in the future, we always let them know by touching base with them 4 times a year with a live telephone call. We also send birthday cards, anniversary cards for the closing, and we touch base with them because if we're keeping up with the Joneses, who's purchase you helped that we helped close and that you had helped them with, if they're from Chicago and they say a sister or brother is down visiting and would love to buy a condominium, we always edify and remind them, oh, well, that's wonderful. We'd be happy to work with your sister. And of course, you're going to be calling Kendall, right? And oftentimes, they'll say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Do you have his number? So, of course we do. And then we'll loop you in on an email following up to the telephone conversation so that you as a business partner know your past satisfied client has a referral for you. Yeah. So we're constantly marketing, to our business partners because we help, we feel that that's helpful in continuing to build your brand.
No, good, and same with myself as well. Now that I saw your process, it's to me, there's nothing better, and it's not just for referrals. That's one piece of it, but it's also that party at some point will again sell, Absolutely. Relocate. So it's a perpetual friendship. That's why I talk about meeting people, understanding where they want to be in life, helping them plug into the right locations. Do you want to be in Laurel Park? Do you want to be in Arlington Park? Do you want to be in anywhere in on the Keys, for example, or Lakewood Ranch? Yeah. So talking to folks and understanding where they want to be, where they're coming from. Oftentimes they're coming from downtown Chicago, downtown New York, and they want to plug right in here,
right?
Which is beautiful. No snow, just a beautiful walk to the park, to anywhere you can imagine. Speaking of that, tell me about your favorite places to walk to, your favorite restaurants.
Sure. So you just said something, and I'd love to share with you some of my favorite spots, but you said something that really resonates with me. You were just talking about how much you care. I mean, that's your avocation. You care. Yes. And that is the one word that I would describe myself and my team. And I think that's another differentiator about Kendall, and a differentiator about the folks that you work with and the team that you quarterback to help people successfully close on their new home purchase or second home or investment property. So, I mean, it really comes through is what I mean to say with you, and you're very genuine about that.
It is.
And, in caring about people's residential purchases, oftentimes we also care about where we're going to eat and where we're going to enjoy a libation. So yes, a couple favorite spots downtown, certainly our 1592, okay. Very, very wonderful restaurant there. And Selva Grill, I think, is a great spot.
I love Selva downtown.
Yep.
Yes.
You never can go wrong there. A lot of comfortable places if you want to go to O'Leary's out there by Marina Jack's. It's a nice tiki hut kind of a setup. Right. So you can go there in your shorts and your T-shirts and enjoy a beer on the quote-unquote beach.
Yeah.
And then out on the Keys, I mean, gosh, Siesta Key and Lido Key and St. Armands and all the way up Longboat.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I think we're just really blessed with a lot of great restaurants and a lot of great places to go. Newer place, I think you may have been over on Arts and Central is the name of the place, and it's on Boulevard of the Arts and Central. So
and we didn't even touch on that, but I mean, we talked about the architecture in your neighborhood, but the culture, our art culture downtown here is amazing. And I've gone to different theaters down here, different events. It's the artistic Southwest Florida here is the artistic culture of Florida, I think.
I agree.
So a couple more items for you real quick here. What was the best day of your life ever?
The best day of my life ever? I kind of feel like every day is the best day. It just keeps getting better, and I really, every morning when I jump out of bed,
you're thankful.
I'm thankful that both hit the ground, and I'm just thankful for and very present and very thankful for the life that I have.
And I think that's great because I don't think if they asked me, I would say, well, I have 6 kids. I mean, the birth of every one of them was amazing.
Right.
Marrying my wife was amazing, but I think you're right. I mean, you lose yourself if you reach back for yesterday, and every day I wake up too. It's like I can't wait to see what's going to happen today.
Exactly.
And I enjoy that meeting people and so on. And I'm glad you brought that up. I would rather meet and close on 12 deals a year or 6 than have 50 and not even know who I'm talking to.
Right.
So I want to help people. I want like you do, and I think that's why we're a great fit here. and get to know them, because otherwise you're just a transactional broker. You just close. And, Robert might like that. But for me and for you, it's about people and making that connection. Tell me real quick before we close out here, current rates, what's going on in the mortgage market right now? What are some options folks have?
Sure.
Help me with that.
Sure, absolutely. So if you don't know what's going on in the market right now, boy, there's a lot going on. It's been a very volatile market, certainly over the past several years. In the last 2 years in particular, we've seen interest rates a little bit higher than what we had seen the previous 2 years. And it's a response to things that are happening in not only the United States economy, but also the global economy.
Right.
So we have things like inflation, we have things like housing and housing values, all having an effect on interest rates. Interest rates are driven by market conditions. And the most important thing I think somebody needs to know is the market conditions today are not what they will be tomorrow, and it literally changes daily. So that if you are in a position where you have an opportunity to purchase a home, but you might say, oh gee, I don't want to pull the trigger now because interest rates are so high.
What's that phrase you guys use? Marry
Well,
the mortgage?
Yeah, exactly.
Date the rate?
Yeah, exactly. So what you need to be focused on is if the house that you're interested in is in the perfect neighborhood with the right schools and the location for work and all that, you should never not put a house under contract, because you can't renegotiate a contract you missed on, but you can renegotiate a mortgage. It's called a refinance. So what rates are today and what they might be tomorrow should not dictate whether or not you found that perfect home, but interest rates are high right now. And there are things that can be we can do to mitigate the current interest rates. We can have interest rates at 2 or 3% below current rates that step up for the first 3 years, while you might be waiting for the economy to move to a direction where interest rates are lower, and then you can refinance. So don't forget, you can always refinance a mortgage, but you can't refinance a contract that you didn't sign on that perfect home. And I think it's also important to know that in the mortgage world itself, you have various levels of outlets there that are providing consumers with the ability to seek a mortgage, right? The online lenders, I think of them as a very vanilla resource. They would like to make the public think that you just press a button and you get a mortgage. You'll never hear the online lenders really pushing rate. They always push ease of execution. But as you and I both know, every transaction has its own situations.
Yes, its own journey.
Yes. As a banker, I feel more equipped to offer a lot of dexterity and a lot of options to folks so that we can provide them choice. And that's what we do on the Matthew Arcari mortgage team. We are never telling somebody what to do. We're going to present options based on the information that we are aware of, their income, assets, and credit, that we know we can close on. We'll present those options, but we let the customer tell us what to do because they know what's best for their family, and then we go and execute it.
Right.
So that's where we feel the market is currently. I think and
that's getting back to what we've been talking about here, getting to know those people, their family,
exactly.
You can present the best product to them.
Yeah.
And not just throw some numbers out and say, here you go.
Exactly. It's not transactional.
Right.
We actually care about what we're doing. And I think presently we're in an election year, so I know that our podcast will stay out there, for time immemorial, but presently we're in an election year, and I think that has a lot of effect on the economy and the market. But I would focus on the right home, and I would always encourage people to keep in touch, as we do with our customers, with the opportunity to refinance when financially it makes sense to them.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's when we talked to Robert Milligan recently, and he said, in his opinion, he's yet to see an election year where they lowered the rates. It just doesn't
happen.
Seem to happen.
No.
I don't want to get political about it, but it would be nice. But even when they do, what's the current rate today or yesterday? Upper sevens?
Yeah, I think rates right now are kind of like bouncing around between the lower sevens and the upper sixes, depending on the person's credit and the financial transaction that they're seeking. So,
and even if, we're not going to see 2 or 3% for a long time, if ever again.
I mean, I've learned enough in this business to know that I learn something every day.
Every day.
So I would never predict where the market's going to go. We were all very surprised 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, where we did see some extraordinarily low interest rates. But that environment had, I think, a lot to do with world pandemic.
Right.
And those are things that, 100-year flood.
Every
Right.
100 years, we see 2% again.
Right, exactly.
No, so I mean, even at 5% is a decent rate. And you're in the sixes now. You're not that far off. So I think you're absolutely right. You see the perfect home, grab it.
Absolutely.
Negotiate either the price or negotiate a buy down or negotiate something else, but get that property because it won't be here forever.
Exactly. And think about the opportunity cost. What I mean by that is the dollar cost to you if you don't act on that.
Yes.
You have an area, certainly in our neck of the woods, where you have appreciation at 7, 10, 11%. And those are very reasonable numbers in our market. Just today, the announcement came out for the month of March where national home sale prices, the prices of homes, increased by over 6%. That's nationally in the month of March. In our market, think about it. If a property is appreciating at 6, 7, 10%, which is very reasonable, it's very doable in our market. If you're buying something at $500 and next year it's going to cost you $550 and 2 years from now it's going to cost you, over $600,000, you just cost yourself $100,000 because you thought the extra $200 or $150 a month in an interest rate. Exactly. So I think the guidance that you're giving customers is very, very pointed. We need to be looking at the math. We need to be recognizing, what can and can't be refinanced. And if we miss out on a property that was perfect for our family and ourselves, shame on us. So get with the right realtors like yourself, get with the right people that care about working with individuals to help them successfully get those homes.
Right. So find the perfect property. I'll help you with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Matthew will help you find the perfect mortgage.
Would be happy
that works
to do
well
it.
for you. I mean, so that's good.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today. I've enjoyed this.
Yes, thank you for having us.
It's always a pleasure to be with you
Absolutely.
and meet with you. And you're just a fun guy. And like I said, I love your lifestyle down here.
Well, thank you.
If I was single or just with my wife and I, I'd probably be down here in a heartbeat.
Downtown, yeah.
And even with the kids, it's not that big of a deal. But I'm out in the Lakewood Ranch area. Trying to hit some of the best schools I can.
Yeah.
And there's just great schools across all of Sarasota, by the way. And in fact, that gets me into my next segue here. Next podcast, I'm going to have one of the great principals on from Tatum Ridge, I hope, and talk about the school systems here. So we've talked about Robert Milligan as far as the home market. We've talked to a nice mortgage broker here, banker.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the schools. I mean, once you move down here, you found the perfect home. You got a great mortgage from Matthew.
Yeah.
What schools you want to be to? We're going to talk about that next because there are some really nice ones here. I appreciate it. And thank you again for watching. And we'll see you soon.